the pandemic continues, many people are experiencing Zoom fatigue. Joining us with tips to overcome Zoom fatigue is health and wellness expert Anastasia Turchetta. Welcome back to Bloom, Anastasia.
Thank you for having me. This is such a real thing. People ask all the time, does it really exist?
Of course. Oh my, because it's so different than what we knew before. And at first it was kind of fun. It was a novelty. People were like, I'm working from home. But now you're like, oh, yes. Another Zoom meeting?
The glaze comes over your eyes. Yes. Our brains are just overworked. I feel there's so much pressure to feel on. You literally do feel, because you have all these eyes looking at you, and not are they only looking at you, but some people don't have their computers aligned, so they're looking down at you, which it kind of does feel a little creepy at first, you know? And you feel like, oh my gosh, is there something wrong with me? Right. Or you have technology delays where people get frustrated, and then that's perceived as being less friendly.
Right, I know. It's a whole different world. So tell us about things that we can do to avoid this Zoom fatigue, or maybe make life a little better as we continue with this transition into the new normal.
It is the new normal, yes. The first thing I would say is get an agenda. An agenda is so helpful because it gives structure to the meeting. An agenda is an action plan that basically has clearly defined roles or talking points. So your team or members know what's going on, what to expect. And then that way, have it a couple of days ahead of time, not in an email. Make it colorful. Go on Canva. There's graphics and mind mapping templates that you can use. It makes it so much easier, and that way everybody brings their A game.
And you say knowing how to break the ice is important as well. How do we do that?
Icebreakers are awesome because a lot of times with Zoom, we're just staring at each other and people are like, how's the weather? Or, you know, I mean, you get on there, you're like, hey, what's going on? Have an icebreaker, like in the group chat on Zoom, have someone upload a picture of their latest photo of their pet. If they don't have a pet, use a child. If they don't have a child or something living in their place, then use themselves. Or ask them, what was the latest thing you binged on Netflix? And then it's good to just kind of break the ice just a little bit.
So how do you determine a Zoom meeting's video value?
Video value, this to me, you're gonna love this.
Okay.
Video value, all meetings are considered high value, right?
Okay,
whether you're at the beginning of a project, you're brainstorming, you're negotiating, or at the end. However, woman to woman, I gotta say, if we're doing hair and makeup, that's got to be a high video value. Not all Zoom needs to be in front of a video. So for me to do it, if a client calls and they want to discuss something, I need to relate if it's my first meeting with them or is this going to be at the end of the project. Because doing hair and makeup, it takes time.
It does.
And you can have another meeting actually in a ponytail and no makeup and in your sweats or walking your dog, which is great for us to get outside because it helps with creativity also. I would say just press mute on your phone so people don't hear the wind factor or something around you, but it's good to get out. So the video value, if you have to put your hair and makeup on, no, that's a high priority. Otherwise, if you could do it without sitting in front of the camera, it's really good to get up and moving.
That's really good to know, and it's interesting because there have been a lot of, studies, more anecdotal than anything else, that especially women now with this new normal, they're really liking not wearing the high heels, not having to fry your hair every day with a flat iron and put on all this goop on your face. And so that's a great thing to figure out where you need to be in that Zoom meeting and what you need to look like.
Yes, absolutely. It's good to ask ahead of time, how long is the meeting going to be? What is the structure going to be, or the agenda? And that should give you a leeway whether to communicate your boundaries, saying, okay, do I really need to be on video today, or can this be done when I can either, you don't have to have your face showing and you can still do it by your phone.
I like that. So what technology options may help decrease screen time for Zoom meetings?
It's a big thing. A lot of people have Google Docs, but they don't maximize it. So if you want a thread, let's say I wanted to have an idea on something to talk about on health, but I needed other people's help, or maybe I had a suggestion. There's always a way to thread it. So Google Docs is a great platform. Then you can also use other platforms like Slack or Twist. Either way, it keeps the thread going. It's almost like text communication, but it's all housed in one area, which is fantastic. And we don't need to feel like we're on with 1,000 eyes on us to do it.
All right, we have just a couple of seconds to end our little meeting here, but how do you end a Zoom meeting?
You end it on time.
Okay.
You end it on time and you go with a 2-minute factor. What you're gonna say is, it's a 2-minute warning. Let's recap our action plan and move forward. That's how you end on a positive note.
That's awesome. All right, for more information, you can visit AnastasiaTurchetta.com. Thanks for joining us on Bloom today.
Thank you for having me.